What would you do if a stranger's hand cracked across your face, not out of accident, but out of hate? In the quiet luxury of first class, a black woman became the target of public humiliation, slapped and told she didn't belong. But she wasn't just any passenger. Beneath her calm silence lay a truth powerful enough to shatter her attacker's world. What happens when dignity collides with cruelty at 30,000 feet? The cabin goes silent. The slap landed with a crack that silenced the first-class cabin. Crystal glasses trembled on their trays, conversations died mid-sentence, and every passenger's gaze locked on the scene unfolding in row 2. Victoria Hale, dressed in ivory silk, stood with her palms still raised, her lips curling into a satisfied sneer. "People like you don't belong up here," she spat, her voice sharp enough to cut through the hum of the engines. Alicia Brown, 42, sat motionless. Her eyes didn't waver, her breathing steady, one hand tightening around the leather armrest. Not a word left her mouth, but the silence around her was louder than any reply. The humiliation hung heavy, suffocating. What no one knew was that Alicia carried a past, and a power, that could shatter Victoria's world before the plane touched down. The cabin crew rushed forward, but stopped short when Victoria raised her voice again. "Don't bother protecting her," she snapped at the attendants. "She's in the wrong seat, and we all know it." Her words carried that sting of superiority, the kind that left others frozen. Some passengers turned away, pretending to adjust their headphones, unwilling to get involved. Others leaned closer, hungry for scandal. Alicia's chest tightened. She had felt this before, the invisible wall built from prejudice, the subtle glances that cut like glass. But this time it wasn't whispers. It was a hand across her face, a public verdict that she did not belong. She straightened in her seat, her jaw firm. "Ma'am," a flight attendant began softly, "her ticket checks out. She belongs here." Victoria laughed, sharp and mocking. "Belongs? Look at her. You think someone like that could afford first class? This airline should know better." A young man 2 rows back shifted uncomfortably, his eyes darting to Alicia, then away. The sting wasn't only from the slap, it was from the silence that followed. Alicia's hand hovered over her purse, brushing the small recorder inside. She had carried it for protection, never expecting to use it here. Her mind replayed her husband's warning: injustice always shows its face when you least expect it. Be ready. And now, every eye was on her, waiting to see if she would crumble, or rise. Victoria leaned in, her perfume thick in the recycled air, her voice dripping venom. "This cabin isn't a shelter. It's for people who earned their place." Alicia finally spoke, her tone low but cutting. "I earned more than you'll ever know." The words made Victoria blink. Then she smirked, raising her hand again as if daring to strike twice. But this time, Alicia's eyes locked on hers, unflinching, immovable. The atmosphere shifted, as if the hum of the engines themselves leaned closer. Passengers held their breath. The silence pressed down. Alicia reached into her bag and placed the recorder on the tray table. She pressed play. The cabin filled with Victoria's own voice, sharp and undeniable: "People like you don't belong here." The playback echoed like a courtroom testimony. Gasps spread. A businessman covered his mouth. A flight attendant froze mid-step. Victoria's smirk faltered. You can't." "I already did," Alicia interrupted, her words landing like a gavel. For the first time, Victoria realized the woman she had humiliated wasn't powerless. She was prepared. And in that moment, the balance of power cracked wide open. The plane sliced through the clouds, but inside, the fall had just begun. The captain's voice came over the intercom, steady but edged with authority. "Ladies and gentlemen, remain seated. Security will meet this aircraft upon arrival." Victoria's face drained of color. She turned toward the passengers, searching for allies, but no one met her eyes. Even those who had looked away before now stared openly, judgment heavy in their silence. "You don't understand," she hissed, grasping at straws. "She's nothing. Just." But the words collapsed as Alicia rose slowly from her seat. Not tall, not loud, yet the cabin seemed to shrink around her. Her voice carried, calm but firm. "My husband once worked with the FBI to bring down the Marino crime family. He taught me one thing: record everything. Lies collapse under their own weight." A ripple moved through the cabin. The crew, emboldened, stepped closer to Victoria, their hesitation gone. The woman who had strutted with superiority now sat small, cornered by her own cruelty. And still, Alicia didn't waver. Her steady gaze was the verdict Victoria could not escape. When the wheels touched down, the cabin erupted in applause, not for the landing, but for the justice everyone knew was coming. Airport police boarded swiftly, their presence undeniable. Victoria tried one last time. "This is a mistake. Do you know who I am?" Alicia remained seated, her voice calm, unshaken. "Yes. And now, so does everyone else." The officers placed cuffs on Victoria's wrists, her protests drowned by the murmurs of passengers who had witnessed everything. For the first time, the woman who demanded visibility was exposed in the worst way. Alicia leaned back, her hands folded neatly. No gloating, no victory smile. Only a quiet strength that filled the silence. A flight attendant whispered, "Thank you," her eyes wet. As Alicia stepped off the plane, sunlight streaming through the jet bridge windows, she carried not the weight of humiliation but the dignity of resistance. Because sometimes the loudest answer to hate is calm, unwavering truth. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories.